All right, this video is for the folks that participate in the Fit Bodies at home workouts in that support group. There were several questions that were asked earlier today that I wanted to try to address in a video format. I'm going to take a piecemeal approach to answering some of the questions because some of them are a little bit easier to address than others. So bear with me as I do that. I think my goal with this video is to address at least two of the questions that were being asked. The first question dealt with varying the weight that's used by the body part that's being trained, whether it's okay to change the weight. And the answer is yes. So if you find it easy to do bicep curls with 10 pounds, by all means, you should increase the weight. You can take it up to 15 or even 20 if your biceps happen to be strong enough to do that. And it's okay to use a heavier weight for the bicep than you do for something like the lateral raise. In general, what I try to tell people is to focus on lifting the heaviest weight possible for them. And let me qualify that. So if you're doing 10 reps, for example, the first 7 reps should be relatively easy, right? The last 3 should be a little bit more of a challenge. The goal is to make sure that you're lifting a weight that challenges your body to grow and develop. If you're able to do a weight or do an exercise with a weight and you can do all 10 or all 12 or 15 reps, whatever it happens to be, relatively easy, it might be time to take your weight up. And so again, if you're doing 7 easy and fighting for the last 3, then that is probably going to be a pretty good weight for you. The other thing is it okay to use a lighter weight for a body part that isn't as strong? Yes, it's okay to do that. So if you find it challenging to do lateral raises with 10 pounds, maybe you go to 8 pounds. And it's okay to use different weights for different body parts because, again, the goal is to challenge the body part that's being trained and not necessarily to reach a rep count or to lift the same weight for each exercise. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And I'll even give you an example to clarify a little bit better. When I'm doing lateral raises, for example, I can do about 30 pounds with lateral raises. Could I go heavier? Yes, but I'll sacrifice form and I'll start to use body momentum to get the weight up. Could I use less? Yes, but am I challenging my shoulders to grow if I'm using 10 pounds when I should be using 30 pounds? So again, just a little of an example to say you want to find the right weight for the body part that's being trained. And again, the goal is to train that body part using a weight that is challenging. So hopefully that answers that question. There was another question that was being asked about protein intake. There is a lot of controversy surrounding protein intake. In general, I will say both men and women need to consume protein, especially if you're doing resistance training. Ideally, you want to take protein within 30 minutes of your workout. But the question becomes how much protein? Based upon the studies that I've been looking at recently, the recommendation is somewhere between 0.7 and up to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So to do the math, you basically multiply either 1.7 times your weight in pounds to get your intake for the day, or you can go again as high as a 1.5 times your body weight to get that. So the question becomes, can you take too much protein in? I don't think so. I prefer to err on the side of taking too much protein versus not enough. And the reason for that are many. If I'm trying to reach a certain caloric goal for the day, I would prefer to consume those calories in the form of protein versus fats or carbohydrates. Protein does several things. 1, it helps you build muscle. 2, it helps you stay fuller longer versus especially carbohydrates. So if you're trying to diet down and you're trying to reduce your calories or you're trying to control your appetite, consuming protein will allow you to do that better than carbohydrates, for example, because the carbs essentially are digested in your body and then they do something to brain chemistry that basically says once they're digested, then you need to eat more. And there's this cycle of you consuming carbs, again and again and again. With protein, it actually allows you to stay fuller